Hey, what's going on everyone? BoHD here, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. It's been out for about a year now, but when it launched, it was one of the most feature-rich smartphones on the market. In fact, given the relatively static smartphone market nowadays, it still holds its own extremely well 1 year later. With the Note 10 right around the corner, we thought we'd revisit the Note 9 to see if there's anything that really needs to be improved. The area that I wanted to start with, and the area that I think may need the most refinement, is in the build department. In my opinion, the build still looks great. It has a very squared off, boxy look, but the tapered and curved sides help the phone feel comfortable in the hands. You still have a headphone jack that's actually rumored to be cut in the Galaxy Note 10, and there is a Bixby button on the left-hand side of the phone that also may not be there in the Note 10. For the 0.3% of users who actually use Bixby, it's nice to have, but with the ability to remap the button to activate the Google Assistant, I think this button is actually really nice to have. You also have that relocated rear-facing fingerprint scanner that is in a much better location than the Note 8. The only thing that I would change is actually just slim down the top and bottom bezels even more than they already are, which is what Samsung is expected to do with the Note 10. However, Samsung is, I think, going a little bit too far by axing the headphone jack. They also appear to be removing one of the camera sensors, so there's only going to be one front-facing camera sensor in the Note 10, and that means that some of the additional sensors on the front of the phone, like the proximity sensors and the iris scanner, which we've seen in older Notes, will not be here. Even the call speaker will be axed in favor of vibrating display technology. So they're definitely going to make the Note 10 one big display, but that does come at a cost. Everyone's different. I like the looks of the renders, but I also believe the Note lineup should be the most feature-packed line of any phone. So I would slim down the bezels, but I would still include front-facing speakers and an additional ultra-wide front-facing camera sensor at the very least. Now, the 6.4-inch 1440 by 2960 Super AMOLED display is still beautiful and won't look outdated at all with the Note 10. The brightness and display size may be bumped up ever so slightly, but the display quality won't change much. And same goes with the software and the performance. The Note 9 was one of the first phones to receive the new Samsung One UI skin that I've found actually helps improve the speed of the phone. It makes animation smoother and more fluid. I also just like the looks of this skin. I like the icons and the modern colors. And all of this isn't expected to change. The performance will be improved, but the Snapdragon 845 octa-core chipset with 6GB of RAM, it still performs well to this day. The additional 2GB of RAM or more will help more background apps to run longer without needing to be rebooted, but I don't think most people will really need that extra perk. Now, with that said, if you've been using a Note 9 as your daily driver and you've been loading it up with a bunch of apps, it will probably be noticeably slower than when you first started using the phone. That's just the nature of technology and especially Samsung phones. But even with that considered, I wouldn't expect the Note 10 to offer that much more than what you already have in the performance department. The Note 9's main camera still performs well, but this is another area that could be improved upon more than the other areas of this phone. When compared to the S10, the Note 9's photos tend to come out slightly darker and less color accurate, leaning more towards the warmer hues than colder hues. If it were up to me, I would like to see the addition of an ultra-wide angle sensor and improved software to bump up brightness depending on the lighting conditions. Thankfully, that's exactly what we're expecting with the Note 10. Now, wired charging on the Note 9 is still really slow. It was slow when it launched last year, and it's even slower relative to the competition in 2019. I would like to see 25 or 30 watt fast charging, something close to the warp charging speed of the OnePlus 7 Pro. Otherwise, the battery remains strong at 4,000 milliamp hours with fast wireless charging. Also, the dual stereo speakers, while not front-facing, are still enjoyable and nice to see. I'm pretty worried that there won't be stereo speakers in the successor since the bezels will be cut down and the call speaker will be removed. But I hope Samsung can figure it out because that may be a deal breaker for me. And of course, the S Pen is still there when I need it, but I don't really use it that much as maybe some people do. Perhaps that's because as a lefty, it's a little bit harder to pull out since the slot is on the right-hand side of the phone. So I have to do this weird shimmy of hands to switch hands and then shift my right hand to eject the pen with my left hand. I don't ever expect Samsung to make a lefty version of a Note product, but it would be very appreciated. And I can't say that there's much I would improve with the S Pen. There's still a plethora of features that I don't use, and Samsung always finds a way to add more features to the S Pen. There's even rumors suggesting a built-in camera to the S Pen, which would be very, very interesting and actually might make me use it more. Overall, the Note 9 is still a great phone that may even have more features than the Note 10 if Samsung does go through with cutting the call speaker, the headphone jack, the stereo speakers, and one of the front-facing camera sensors. When a successor comes out, it's always a great time to look for discounts on the older variants as they usually are heavily discounted. One more thing I do want to note is that 5G is starting to become more widely available in the US. So if you're at all interested in 5G within the next couple of years, you may want to invest in a 5G capable phone like the Note 10 Plus, which is rumored to be coming alongside the Note 10. But 5G is still years away from being as widely available as 4G is now, so there's really no big rush in my opinion. But with that said, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and how it stacks up today. If you've been using the phone, let me know how you like it. As always, I'm Beau HD from PhoneDoug.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.